Welcome everyone to episode 105 of This Week in Geek. We're back. We're in a new set. Zach is just fixing up something back at his place and he'll join us momentarily. Hope you guys are all doing well. I have missed you. I'm sure Zach has missed you all as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching us live. Hope you enjoy the new set. I think it looks pretty cool, but I'm biased to be fair. And of course, it'll change. It's still getting. This is not the final form of the set, but it is very much how it's gonna look like for the time we're here. But I hope you guys are well. I hope you've missed us. I hope you are ready to talk Oscars because the Oscars are tomorrow. I'm still considering if we can do a live stream because this corner where you are right now, it's the only corner in my place where I can't set up the camera, and the TV is right here. So I'm looking at my TV right now. If we do end up doing a live for the Oscars, just live reacting to everything, I'll be like this. So I won't be looking directly at the camera too much if we do that, but it'll still be here. I'll still be ready for questions and all that. But while we do wait for Zach and while we do contemplate if we end up doing that Oscars live reaction live stream, I guess, I do have some movies to rank because we are doing our good old weekly ranking. This is the first segment of the show where me, Zach, and then you guys in the live chat rank everything we watched this past week and rank it from the worst to the best. Then we go into our main topic. That's the topic you see on the thumbnail, on the title of this video. And after that, we go into your questions, which you can leave on my community tab where you see a post asking for your questions with the thumbnail for this episode of the show. But if you're not watching us live, you're not watching us on the replay on YouTube, you can't submit your questions right now. We want to still thank you for giving us a listen on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether we're joining you on a run, on a commute, at the gym, however we're joining you. Thank you so much for having us join you. And with that out of the way, I'm going to rank what I watched this week. And I haven't seen the finale of Dragon Ball Daima yet. I cannot talk about Daredevil Born Again yet. But I have seen two films. I caught up on two films that I was very behind on. And no, neither of them are the two missing Best Picture nominees that I have left to watch. I will watch one of them later today and another one tomorrow. But what I did watch today, earlier this week, was Love Hurts, the Ke Huy Quan film, the rom-com action film that just came out. I didn't enjoy this one. I don't think it's particularly bad, but I also don't think it's particularly good. The action, when it's there, is fun. It's very reminiscent of Jackie Chan in the 90s, in the early 2000s, sort of comedic action style. But the rom-com of it doesn't really work. The romance doesn't really, it's nothing more than an idea, so it doesn't evolve beyond that. And it's a shame because this is an incredibly talented cast, but you can't be invested in any of the characters just because there's nothing interesting about them. Even the whole fact of this bad guy who's the brother of Ke Huy Quan, he comes in, he wants him back in the organization, and we don't really know why, because of this thing that they have to, but like, why? We have no clear reason or motivation for anything happening in this film, unfortunately, and so it doesn't really come together. What does come together and actually really surprised me how good the romance was what I just watched this morning. A little behind on that, but I finally watched The Gorge, directed by Scott Derrickson, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Miles Teller, and it's a great movie. It's not the best movie of the year, but I would put it as my number 2 so far. I think this is really strong as a thriller, as an action film, as a creature feature, as a sort of pseudo post-apocalyptic thriller per se. But the romance really. Oh, and Zach's here. Hello, Zach.
Hello, I got my thing working.
Alrighty. As I was saying, the romance really works. You really got me invested. I think it takes a little bit too long to get started, but the adventure, the performances are great, the action is fantastic, and I wouldn't mind being brought back into this world for a sequel, however they see it fit. I don't think it necessarily needs to have a sequel, it doesn't warrant for a sequel, because the way it bookends the story is very much, okay, the story is done. The story's been told. But I would selfishly love to be back in this world. And that does it for my weekly ranking. One of the most movies of the year that we won't remember by December, but also a film that we should all be on the lookout for because it might stick around as one of the best films of the year. Who knows? Zach, what do you got?
I didn't watch anything this week.
Incompetence.
No movies. I haven't watched a movie in like a week.
You've been binging a certain show that I just started last night.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot more TV right now.
Right.
Playing video games. Not really a lot of movies, and then I haven't really had. I mean, I could go back weeks ago, but you did talk about The Gorge. That is my favorite film of the year. I fucking love that movie.
Which one?
The Gorge.
That's your favorite?
Love that movie. That's my favorite movie so far of the year.
All right. It's my number 2, so we're very similar there.
So,
all right. Yeah. So, with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the biggest night of the year for us. And by us, I mean film nerds.
I thought it was your birthday.
Tomorrow.
I thought your birthday was the biggest day.
Not for every movie nerd, but it is. This is the last show where I am 31, and that is depressing. So send me birthday presents, everyone. I don't know. But tomorrow is the Oscars. The journey to get here has been what's the word we want to use? Chaotic doesn't seem like enough. Feels like an understatement if we just say it's been chaotic, Zach. Toxic is a great word. I would even use the word catastrophic. It's been catastrophically toxic from the nominations to now the Oscars, and everywhere else has been a little bit chaotic. The Globes threw a lot of people off the loop. The SAGs did the same thing. Then the DGA and the WGA seem to be pointed at an entirely different direction. So tomorrow is a very tricky night to predict, but it doesn't feel impossible to predict, and that is a lot of what the fun is every year, is to look at who will win, who should win. And obviously at this point with the nominations, with the Oscars being about 24 hours from now, we're looking at who should win amongst the nominees, because otherwise the answer would just be Dune Part 2 for everything that it's not been nominated for. So me and Zach, we're going to run through every single category. We might skip through some of the shorts, definitely the documentary, because I haven't seen any of the documentaries. I don't think I've seen any of the shorts, but if Zach has, or if I seen anything that he hasn't, or whatever, we'll bounce back and forth. I need to put up a disclaimer right now before we start, because I am missing 2 of the Best Picture nominees. I still have to watch 2 of the Best Picture nominees. One of them is a complete unknown, and the other is Nickel Boys. Now, I have both movies available. In fact, they're over here. They're doing an Oscar season, and tonight, A Complete Unknown is back playing in cinemas here. So I will go watch that. Tomorrow, I am watching Nickel Boys before the Oscars, just so I have it all complete before going in. So I will post a ranking somewhere. I'm sure I won't have time to do a video because I'm working tomorrow, but I'll post a ranking of the Best Picture nominees somewhere. But
how
Zach,
dare you? You're making work prioritize this.
I'm not, but someone did. Unless I ask for someone to fill in my shift. But Zach, I need to go grab my water. So why don't you get us started with who will win and who should win for Best visual effects.
Are we sharing the screen or?
Yes, we can. I forgot to do that.
Okay.
Let me put it up in a sec. No, not that. Where? Share screen. There we go. Alrighty, Zach. Best visual effects. The nominees are Alien Romulus, Better Man, which I finally saw in the past few weeks while we were off, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. What do you think?
I honestly, I think a lot of people are gonna pick Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but I think it's gonna be Dune Part 2. Personally, I think Dune Part 2 has, I think, a lot of these technical awards in the bag for the most part. I know Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was incredible, but I think I'm gonna go with Dune Part 2. I think I'm gonna go with Dune Part 2. I just felt like this year, in terms of like just the Oscars and stuff, usually I know visual effects is a little bit different, but I feel like, the way people talk. But I will say this is a big thing that's going to affect this voting. Because of the fires, they didn't do their typical presentations for best visual effects for all the nominees. So they were basically just sent out to all the Academy voters. Did the Academy voters even do their due diligence, or did they just vote to vote? So I will say this. Do not be shocked if something that's not Planet of the Apes nor Dune wins here. I think there could be a chance that a Wicked could win. I'm not saying it will, but I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance just on that basis. But Dune's my pick.
Dune's my pick as well. I think it should win. I think it will win. I think if anything else takes it, I think it's one of the two monkey-centric nominees. Because for some reason, I just think that they could look at Better Man and go, yeah, let's give it that. When, honestly, it's fine. In a movie where you have one monkey and then a movie where it's entirely just monkeys, I think, but even just between those, the Several Monkeys movie deserves
May
it.
have split the vote, too, on the monkeys.
What's that?
May have split the vote.
Yeah, exactly. Just the votes for the monkeys, 50-50. All right. Next up, we have Best Film Editing. The nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. Now, this is one of those that it has been a little bit open field as of now, but I'm going to stick with the BAFTAs. I'm going to stick with the SAGs. No, not with the SAGs. Whichever other one happened within the past 2 weeks. I'm going to go Conclave. I think Conclave will win. And amongst these nominees, honestly, I think Conclave should win. Because I would genuinely, I think, put that film number 2 as best edited film of the year, only behind Dune Part 2. So to me, 100%, this one feels, let's say, easy to predict. I'm going with Conclave for both should and will. Zach, what about you?
I think Anora is going to win this, but my personal pick would be The Brutalist. The fact that film feels not 3.5 hours. That for me is like the easy. Yep, that's a lot of that goes towards the editing. So, but who knows? Maybe Emilia Perez will win. We can all cheer.
No, we won't. After that, we have Best Costume Design, and I'm going to let you get started on this one because I haven't seen one of the nominees, Zach. So the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. Who do you think will take this one?
A Complete Unknown. I get why it's nominated. I don't think it. I go more towards everything else. I think my personal pick would be Nosferatu. I think Nosferatu's just costume design was top tier. But I'm kind of torn. I think it's either between Wicked or Conclave for best costume design. But I think I'm going to stick with Wicked for costume design.
I'm gonna do exactly the same thing as you. I think it should be Nosferatu. I don't think Nosferatu has a chance at all at winning this. I think they're giving it to Wicked as well. I would personally give it to Conclave or Gladiator 2 over Wicked, but I think, and again, that's no dig on Wicked, because I think it's going to win, and I'll have no problems when/if it does. I just think the other ones are more interesting. All right, moving up to Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and I have seen all the nominees on this one. The nominees are A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Much like the previous category, I think this award should easily go to Nosferatu. But I don't think Nosferatu is going to win. I think The Substance is just as easily as I think Nosferatu should win. I think The Substance is easily winning this one. It won't be swayed in any other direction the way I see it. Zach, what do you see?
It's between The Substance and Nosferatu. I think my initial video I did on predictions, I think I said Nosferatu, but I'm gonna change it and say, yeah, I think The Substance.
All right. Yeah, I. So you think Nosferatu has a chance? Like realistically? Okay.
Realistically, yeah.
I hope you're right.
I think there's a reason it got nominated.
Yeah,
I don't think that's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, we're just gonna nominate this random movie. It's kind of like this next category, best cinematography. When we look at it, Maria,
all right,
Maria could have a chance, but take it away.
One of the biggest, for me, always one of the biggest awards of the night, cinematography. We have, honestly, apart from one, I think these are all worthy nominees, and if either of them won, I do have a favorite, but I wouldn't be able to be mad if any of these four movies, apart from Emilia Perez, won for cinematography. We have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, for some reason, Maria, which is one of the most gorgeous films you will ever see. The way it's shot is just flawless. And Nosferatu. Now, not going to beat around the bush. I think Dune Part 2 should take this one. There's a part of me that wishes Nosferatu could also win it. I think it's going to go to Dune, but I think The Brutalist is the very close number 2. I will be somewhat surprised, but I will not be shocked if we're all expecting Dune Part 2. I'm expecting Dune Part 2, but instead we hear The Brutalist. Zach, how do you see it going?
I initially thought Dune Part 2 earlier this week, but I think it's going to be The Brutalist. Yeah. I think this is just one of those few. Even though Nosferatu, I think, is the best out of all these, in my opinion.
Nosferatu just looks so good, man. So good. Production design. Next up, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. Again, I think this should be Dune. Or honestly, I almost prefer to give this one to Nosferatu, but I think it's going to be The Brutalist again.
I'm between. I think this one's a 3-horse race.
Okay,
and it's not for the 2 that we are talking.
Okay.
I would love if it was Dune. I would love if it's Nosferatu. I genuinely think it's between Wicked, Conclave, and The Brutalist.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Wicked. I think Wicked because the sets they built. Hollywood loves their big musicals.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna say Wicked.
All right. Best sound, A Complete Unknown, I Can't Judge, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. Now, like I just said, I have not seen A Complete Unknown yet. Everything else, forget about playing on the same league. Emilia Perez, Wicked, and as much as I adore it, The Wild Robot, they're not even playing the same game as Dune when it comes to sound design, sound editing, and sound mixing all together. For me, this is very evidently clear. Again, taking a complete unknown out because I can't comment on that either way as of the moment. In a few hours, I will. This is Dune Part 2, should and will. I generally haven't seen anything else from any of the other movies regarding sound wins in sound categories. So I think it is a very sure thing that this one, along with maybe VFX, will go to Dune. Zach?
Yeah, Dune. I mean, I love the Complete Unknown, but yeah, Dune.
Will and
But
should?
I will say, the Wild Robot. I would love to see if it won, but
No?
it won't.
Next up, Best Original Song. We got El Mal from Emilia Perez. We got The Journey from the 6888, which I never ended up watching. We got Like a Bird from Sing Sing, which I finally watched in the meantime in the past few weeks. It is very good. Didn't make it to my top 10 of the year. Wouldn't have made it to my top 10 of the year, rather, but it is very good. It is in the top 20 for sure. Then we have Mi Camino from Emilia Perez. And we finally got Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late, which is a documentary, I think, that's somewhere, playing somewhere. Zach, I have no idea, and I'll tell you why. I'm not even trying to cheat here, but I have not heard of any of these songs apart from these are the songs that are nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars. I've not seen anyone talk about these songs. I've not seen any of these songs awarded anywhere else. So I have no idea who should win because look, I watched Sing Sing in the past few weeks. I did not realize there was an original song in there. I don't remember a song playing in that film. An original song, that is. Never watched the Elton John documentary because it's a documentary. And the Emilia Perez songs are just terrible. So I generally have no idea who will, and I have no idea who should because I've not heard any of these songs, and I have no idea who will because there's no favorite. Like apart from all the other big awards, there's not a clear favorite in here. There's not a clear this favorite or unfavorite, whatever the word is for that. Like, I don't know what song everyone collectively dislikes, but for that matter, I don't know any of these songs that everyone collectively loves. Do you have any better idea? Have you heard of any of these songs? Have you heard the songs themselves? What do you think?
I think they're just gonna go up there and they're gonna open the envelope and no one wins.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll just say I hope Sing Sing wins because it's not gonna win anything else. So
I would probably just from a place of ignorance, I would probably say give it to it because of the movies that I have seen in here, which are two out of the four nominees, it is the best movie by far out of the nominees.
yeah.
So yeah, best music, best original score. How Dune Part 2 is not here, I don't know, but the nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Finally, my friends, we've arrived at a place where I will give you two very clear answers on who will win. I think this is very clearly The Brutalist. The Brutalist has a fabulous score, and everyone, generally speaking, has agreed so far in this Oscar season. Who should win, however, to me, it would 1,000% be The Wild Robot. It's not going to win. This is very much going to The Brutalist. Unlike the we were talking about the best sound category, I will not be shocked. I will, or rather, I will be shocked. Excuse me. I will be shocked if, honestly, anything else besides The Brutalist wins for best score. But I would personally give it to The Wild Robot. That should win amongst these nominees. Zach, what do you think?
Brutalist is winning.
Yeah,
That's about it. But the Wild Robot out of these was my favorite.
yeah. I'm the same. Have you seen any of the animated
Nope.
shorts? Have
No.
you seen any of the live
Nope.
action shorts,
Nope.
documentary shorts, documentary features?
Feature I can talk about. I saw some of these.
Okay.
No Other Land should win, and I think it will win.
All right. There we go. So we skip those four ahead. Best international feature film. I have not seen two of these. I've had the chance to watch The Girl with the Needle, and for some reason I just haven't. But the nominees are Emilia Perez, Flow, which I'm very happy to see on here, The Girl with the Needle, I'm Still Here from Brazil, and The Seed of a Sacred Fig. Now, I have no idea what The Girl with the Needle or The Seed of the Sacred Fig are about, but these are unlike. So let's give the other again the example of the best original song nominees. I have not seen The Girl with the Needle. I have not seen The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I have constantly heard about these movies since about September last year. So that's the contrast for you. I think I'm Still Here is very much taking this one away. Um, and honestly, judging from the three films on this category that I have seen, I would easily give it to it. So I think it will, and I think it should. Even though there's a part of me that would love to see Flo get some love. Zach, what do you think?
I think I'm Still Here wins.
Yeah,
and it should win.
it should. All right. Next up, Best Animated Feature Film. We have Flow. We have Inside Out 2. We have Memoir of a Snail, which I still haven't seen. We have Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, which is there. And we have The Wild Robot. And honestly, for who will win, I think The Wild Robot will win. I think Inside Out 2 is edging it closer than people realize, but I think The Wild Robot is still the favorite. I think it will win. Personally, I would give it to Inside Out 2, but I have no issues with The Wild Robot winning. What about you, Zach?
Wild Robot.
Wild Robot.
I think it's the best DreamWorks movie ever made. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Best writing for an adapted screenplay. We have A Complete Unknown. We have Conclave. We have Emilia Perez. We have Nickel Boys. And we have Sing Sing. Now, this one, the way I see it at least, this one feels very easy to predict, only because only one of these nominees has had any luck picking up the best writing, adapted screenplay, best script, screenplay, whatever award, and that's Conclave. And again, I still have to see A Complete Unknown. I still have to see Nickel Boys, but Conclave had one of the two best scripts I read last year. And so I think it absolutely will win, and I think undoubtedly it should win. It is a magnificent screenplay, and yeah, just I see no one else taking it. Like I don't see, as we were talking about for cinematography, for music, sorry, that the Brutalist is clearly going to win. I think there's a very clear distinction here in this category between Conclave and all the other nominees below it. Zach, what do you think?
I would love to see Sing Sing win this, but Conclave.
Alrighty. Best writing for an original screenplay. We have Anora. We have The Brutalist. We have A Real Pain. We have September 5th, which I've watched since the nominations. It's fine. And we have The Substance. I don't know about you, Zach. This is the first race we're looking at that I think is very tight between three of the nominees. Because right now, I could see it going either way, to Anora, to The Brutalist, to A Real Pain. So the calling the who will win on this one is tough. I think I have to choose because this is our last chance for final predictions. I'm hanging my hat on the Honora vote. That's who I'm attaching myself to. If I was voting, however, and this is where we get into the who should win, maybe I'm surprising Zach, maybe I'm surprising some of you watching, maybe I'm surprising no one. And I do really fucking love the A Real Pain script. It's an incredible screenplay. The Brutalist takes this one for me. As far as I'm concerned, the Brutalist should take it. But I think they're going with Anora, which I have no problems with. What do you think?
So if I was voting, I would have voted Challengers, even if it wasn't a pick, because it should be the winner here. But since I can't pick Challengers, I think A Real Pain's going to win this one. I think this is a Jordan Peele type of year where it doesn't. I mean, A Real Pain was only nominated in one other category.
Yeah,
what I understand,
which is also probably going to win that one.
Yeah, so I think it's going to win, and good for Jesse. Good for Jesse Eisenberg. But I would love the substance. I love. Oh, his first film's not good. Don't watch it.
Okay.
I think you would hate that movie. I think you would hate that movie. Like, knowing you, I think you would despise that movie with such a high passion.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Like, now I kind of want to watch it.
Genuine. I would. If you told me you liked it, I would be shocked. If you told me, I would be absolutely shocked.
Let's move on to Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We got Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. We got Ariana Grande. We got Felicity Jones. We got Isabella Rossellini. And we got Zoe Saldana. And before we go into the who should, who will, or who will, who should, let's just, because Zoe is the clear favorite going into this, let's just remind ourselves that we could have awarded this excellent actress for either of her Avatar performances, but we chose to nominate her for this. Again, I have not seen A Complete Unknown. I will be watching it tonight. Congratulations to Monica if it's true that her and Andrew Garfield are together. Very happy for both of them because I really like both of them. I think this one is going to Zoe Saldana. She has been the most consistent winner on this award season so far. Not that I agree, but she has. So you have to think that the same people that have awarded her in all these other awards bodies are also gonna award her at the Oscars because it's all been the same people voting. From the nominees, and we've talked plenty about how the nominees could have put in some other people. I personally earlier in the year would have said this should go to Felicity Jones, but she has like zero momentum somehow. I have no idea how her performance in The Brutalist didn't pick up more steam. Zach, I would personally give it to Felicity Jones, but after Felicity Jones, from these nominees, Ariana Grande would be the one for me. But I think if I have to choose just one person who should, I'm going to go with Felicity Jones. But there was a time where Ariana was the one to beat.
Mm-hmm. Monica should win this. This should be Monica's award. That was one of the best performances of last year for me.
So should we pause the show so I can go watch A Complete Unknown and then
I genuinely like Timothy. It's Timothy's film.
Yeah.
The fact that she came in and rivaled him in a performance.
Okay.
What was just outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
She plays guitar. She sings dramatically. I would even argue Elle Fanning. If we're talking supporting roles, I think Elle Fanning should have also been in here.
Instead of her or both of them?
Both should have been nominated. But I'm just happy Monica got in. But after that, I would say Ariana Grande should be with the winner. I liked Felicity Jones quite a bit. I think there's just no momentum, mostly because I think most people probably didn't even finish.
Which I'm shocked by. I am genuinely shocked.
She's only in the back half. How many people actually finished it? That's the way I'm viewing it. Like the way that these Oscar voters are.
That's a good point. I like to think better of people.
And then like Zoe Saldana, like Netflix just pushed her. That Netflix has a really good
Yeah, Netflix.
Marketing
But
for
also,
your consideration.
reminder: Zoe Saldana. This is category fraud. She
Oh,
is literally
1000%.
the lead of the film. She's the lead. There's no subjectivity to this, people. Like
Yeah.
she is 1,000% the lead of that
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
So
Nope. I agree.
it's a Christian Bale situation all over again.
But she will win this. She will
Yes,
win.
she will. She will.
And this is more, I will say, a career award. This isn't for this film, in my opinion. This
No,
is look
and
at
it
what she's
shouldn't
done.
be, and it shouldn't be, and this is why I hate the concept of career Oscar. Like, no, fuck that. It's the best performance of the year. What do you think is the best performance of the year? Cool, vote for that person. It's that fucking simple. Then we have Best Actor in a Supporting Role. We have Yuri Borisov for Anora. We have Kieran Culkin from A Real Pain. We have Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. We have Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. And we have Jeremy Strong as, not as The Apprentice, but for The Apprentice. It's very easy, this one. Again, it's Kieran Culkin. He has the momentum. No one else has the momentum. He's been consistently winning for one of the two nominations this film got. The other nomination for Best Original Screenplay has also been getting some of the other awards, so it does have momentum. But I think here, right now, clearly it's Kieran Culkin's to lose. And amongst these nominees, I would personally vote for him. Zach?
Kieran's gonna win.
Yeah.
For me, any given day I could change. I thought Edward Norton phenomenal in A Complete Unknown. Guy Pearce fucking scary good in The Brutalist. But yeah, it's Kieran's award. It's Kieran's award. A Real Pain. I saw I think like a month ago, and I thought it was great, and I thought he was great in it. So yeah.
For context, ladies and gentlemen, the actual best supporting actor last year is not even nominated. That would be Nicholas Hoult in The Order. He should be winning this award.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
but he
pick.
wasn't even nominated. So, best actress in a leading role, we have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. We have Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. We have Mikey Madison for Anora. We have Demi Moore for The Substance, and we have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. It's a three-person race again, because the less we talk about one of these nominees, the better. Cynthia Erivo, unfortunately, she's been consistently nominated. She's also been consistently not awarded throughout.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
Cynthia, if she's nominated again next year, she'll win. I think this is more of a let's see the second.
I don't think I'm as I don't have as strong a stance as you, but I will meet you halfway. The way I see it, if she's nominated again next year, not at least I don't want to say she wins as of right now, but I'm going to say she's going to be pushed and she's going to be much more like a favorite going in. I'm not even saying like clearly she's going to win, but she's going to be like the second choice or make it a three-person race, something like that. Again, much like the best supporting actor this year, the person I would personally award the Oscar to didn't even get nominated, unfortunately. Angelina Jolie and Maria, will miss you so much because you should have won this award. I'm all the way going with Demi Moore. Amongst the nominees, she is my favorite performance. I just love the fact that a horror movie that has so much to say about unrealistic beauty standards for society, a film that talks a lot about self-love, self-acceptance, and it's essentially a movie adjacent to be about movies that are about making movies. And I would even say the me is the favorite. Like Mikey Madison is very obviously the second runner. Fernanda Torres is very obviously the third. I would have no problem if Fernanda Torres won tomorrow, but Demi Moore for me 100%. I think she will win. I think she should win. Zach?
I'm torn between Mikey and Demi. Because
I get
if
it.
I'm being honest, I don't see either of them ever being nominated again. And I hope I'm wrong. But I
I
really never see
I
either
can
of
see
them.
Mikey Madison getting nominated in the future.
I just don't. I like just from the way that I like watched her interviews and stuff. Acting's not like her main. It doesn't seem like acting's like the thing.
Oh, is it
and
not?
that's not
Okay.
as. It just doesn't seem like it. I mean,
Okay.
I could be wrong, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she does want to act more. Maybe she does act more. But like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Mikey. There's a part of me that's like Demi's performance is so much heavily relied with Margaret Qualley's as well, and Margaret was not nominated.
Mhm.
And Mikey is that whole film is Mikey. That whole film was literally made because of her. Sean Baker wrote the script because of her. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mikey Madison. I think she should win for Honora.
All right. And you think she will as well, or do you think Demi is a will?
I don't know. I'm gonna say I think Demi Moore still wins,
Mhm.
which is awesome. I
Yeah.
love The Substance. Top 5 films of last year for me. But yeah, I would prefer Mikey to win this.
All
I
right.
just think like that's so cool that a role like that and like her age and all that.
I don't think we ever talked. Did you end up seeing I'm Still Here?
I did, and I really liked it.
Okay. Okay.
If
So
Fernando won, I wouldn't be mad either.
you've heard Portuguese
I,
now with a strange accent, but you've seen a film in the Portuguese language. I'm proud of you.
okay.
Did it sound weird?
No, I don't think so.
Best actor in a leading role. We have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I have no idea who's going to win because this past Sunday with the SAGs, we've just been thrown off. I would say it's a 3-person race. It's Adrian, it's Rafe, and now it's Timothy. You can't say it's a 3-person race without Timothy just because of last Sunday. And last Sunday was specifically the actor's body that voted. So for all we know, the actor's body is voting for him again. If not for the SAGs, I would still say it's a 2-person race between Rafe and Adrian. I would honestly give the edge to Adrian. I still think Adrian is the one taking it home. Personally, Ray Fiennes should win. And I say that with the utmost conviction. To me, that is the best lead male performance of the year. Apart from a certain performance by Timothy Chalamet that wasn't nominated. But since it wasn't nominated, it doesn't matter. I would personally give it to Ray Fiennes. I think Timothy is sneaking in there, but I still think ultimately they're giving the award to Adrian, which honestly, more than deserved. Zach?
Timothy should win. I think he's going to.
Okay.
I'm sticking my flag in this.
I'm definitely watching A Complete Unknown tonight.
Again, Dune might still be my personal favorite performance of his, or Beautiful Boy, but I think A Complete Unknown is probably, like, when you look at everything, is his best performance.
Okay.
I'm not huge on Bob Dylan, but he transformed into Bob Dylan.
I'm
the
very
dialect, the voice, everything. And also his speech. I don't fuck anyone who didn't like that speech.
His speech was great.
Was great. I saw people giving him shit. I saw a certain
I think anyone who has problems with that speech, it says more about you than that.
1000%.
Like, so much shit gets said online and in person and on a microphone and in interviews these days, and that's what you're going to get mad about?
Yeah.
Like, pick your battles wisely, people.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing offensive or transgressive or imposing or
it's not even cocky.
about
I don't even think it's cocky either. I think it's humble.
It's a
people are calling it cocky.
It's one of the most that speech is one of the most humane speeches I have ever seen. Just very introspective, very aware, very level-headed and grounded. There's literally nothing about that speech that's like anger-induced. I mean, honestly, either way, there's nothing about that speech that I hear and I'm like, I have strong emotions about it. Like, there's nothing. It's so passively just. The best word to describe it is normal. It is such like, oh, it's actually, for me, it was actually kind of refreshing to hear something like that at an award show. Like, oh, this is just completely like, it's a guy I know from down the street talking and be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And yeah. Next up, the final two, ladies and gentlemen, best directing. We have Anora. We have Sean Baker for Anora. We have Brady Corbett for The Brutalist. We have James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. We have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez. And we have Coralie Fargat for The Substance. She's French. If it's French, I don't know it. I apologize, but I hope I pronounced it right. This is a two-person race. I don't think Jacques has any chance at this point. He has a better chance than Mangold and Coralie, the way I see it, but he's not really in the race per se. This is between Sean Baker and Brady Corbett. And if you ask me, just looking at those two films, Anora and The Brutalist, both films I really love. This is Brady Corbett's movie. In fact, this is Brady Corbett's award, I should say. He's winning it for The Brutalist. And in fact, I'll tell you this. The reason Brady Corbett is winning is the same reason why Denis Villeneuve was not nominated for this. Because they're going to award the best directing for the most monumentally giant scoping big film there is. And you look at these nominees, and there's only one film that fits that category, and that film is the most Hollywood Oscars kind of, they eat this shit up kind of film, and that is The Brutalist. And honestly, as much as I do love The Brutalist, even though I don't quite love it as much as most other people, it's not quite there in the top 10 for me. It was in the top 20. This is a film that I'm just very happy I saw. In fact, I'm so happy I was literally in the first audience to ever watch it, like last year. It is a film that you don't see getting made. Going into this film, we were like, what is this movie? How does this movie exist? Because it's a 3.5-hour movie with intermission, directed by a quote-unquote no-name director. Like, Brady Corbett is not a Spielberg. He's not a Scorsese. He's not a Nolan. You ask the general audience who this guy is, 10 out of 10 people who will tell you no fucking idea. Because he is not one of those names. And yet,
I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd seen his previous
name
movies.
didn't jump out, and I was like, oh, it's the guy who did Vox Lux. And I didn't care for Vox Lux, so I was nervous going into The Brutalist. To me, it's bar none. If out of these nominees, and again, I haven't seen A Complete Unknown, out of these nominees, I look at the discipline of directing a movie, The Brutalist does it best. Zach, give us your thoughts, and then when you're done, bring us into Best Picture, because I have to put my computer on charge, and I have to be out of camera for a second.
Sean Baker's winning, hands down. I think Brady deserves it, though. I think what Brady did with The Brutalist isn't phenomenal, but I think Sean Baker's going to win it. I think Sean Baker's been cranking out great stuff in Hollywood for a while. And plus the DGA win. That's a big one for me. So going into Best Picture, though, let's talk about this. So the nominees were Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Dune Part 2 should be the winner here. It's not going to be the winner here. It's not even close. But I think this kind of goes hand in hand. I think it's really much between Anora and The Brutalist. And I think it depends what kind of year was the Oscars having. Did the Academy want to go full on Parasite and award every single thing that Sean Baker was nominated in for that movie? Just like Parasite, where Bong Joon-ho seemed surprised when he just kept coming up with different awards. Or are they going to spread out the love? I'm going with my gut. I think Anora wins. I think Anora wins this.
I think it's funny that you made a comparison to Parasite, because the comparison that was coming to my head was a few years earlier when The Shape of Water surprisingly won. But your Anora, the Anora is your Parasite. The Brutalist is My Shape of Water, where The Shape of Water was obviously clearly beloved and had a lot of things going for it. But the favorite that year, if anyone's not quite remembering, was not The Shape of Water. The favorite that year was Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I was so happy when Shape of Water beat it.
Same. I do love both those films. I love Three Billboards. I was personally rooting for The Shape of Water. I think that's kind of what we're looking at here, where we could have Mikey Madison winning for Best Actress, and then Best Actor also goes for something else in Ralph Fiennes, but then Best Directing and Best Picture both go to Brady Corbett. I completely agree with you, Zach. This right now is a two-person race. Dune Part 2 should absolutely win, but this is a race between Anora and The Brutalist. Award season started with this being a race between Anora and The Brutalist. Conclave got a little bit in there, which I was very happy to see it while it was there. At one point, it generally made this a three-person race, even with the Emilia Perez of it all. But it is very much, it's between Anora and The Brutalist. I think we're all going to be jumping hoops. We're going to be jumping hoops through the night, changing our minds in whichever direction. I think Anora has a very good shot. I will not be shocked if it is Anora. Like I said, Dune Part 2 should win. The Brutalist will win Best Picture. And again, I won't be shocked if it goes to Anora. I won't be mad if it goes to Anora. But the way I see it, it is very much The Brutalist's night. So that does it. That finishes off our catch-up for the 97th Academy Awards, which are happening tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me get my phone for the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for our Oscar.
I can do the questions. I haven't pulled up.
Yeah, all right. We're going to now move on to your questions, which you can leave on the community tab on my channel. If you want to guarantee your question is answered, please do consider using the tip link in the description or the super chat feature, because this helps us out while you ask great questions. And with that, let us know, what are your final predictions for the Oscars? Who will win? Who should win in certain categories? And let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to see a live Oscars reaction stream tomorrow? Because I can just get myself watching and you guys can join me. All right, Zach, what do we got first on the questions?
Lady Aaron says, I've missed seeing you lately around with your videos. Well, fuck me, right? I guess.
No, you're consistent. You've been putting out videos. You haven't allowed people to miss you.
Okay, I just won't make a video anymore. I missed you too. I get sad when you don't have videos, because then I can't watch them.
I know.
How have you been, and what have you been up to since the last episode?
Well, I've been up to moving and settling into a new place.
I like the new set.
Thank you very much. I just got Wi-Fi today. Zach was he was basically waiting on me to let him know if we're having a show today. And thankfully, here we are. So that's what I've been up to. All right. Next up. Lady Aaron, if you have any no guts, no glory predictions for Oscar winners, what are they and why? Dune Part 2, winning everything it's nominated for, as it should. And winning stuff that it is not nominated for. That would be like a big, big surprise. I'd be very happy to see.
Can you read my private chat?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Disappointing.
I literally just
Disappointing.
got displaced, Zach. Nothing like that has happened.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. What is your no guts, no glory predictions, if you have any prediction?
None. Honestly, this is just I don't know. None. I feel like this is a very predictable year overall. Like I honestly I think it's gonna be pretty safe. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's just gonna be a safe year. I think it's gonna be the same winners.
I think it's
earlier in
a
the
tougher
season
year.
where no one knew what was
Yeah.
what. You know what I mean? So I
What's
can read
that?
the next one. Lady Aaron, did you guys see the Pokemon presents that we got a couple days ago? Yeah, it was fucking ass. If so, what are your thoughts on it? That was my thoughts. I wish we got an actual release date for Legends ZA. No, wish the starter selection was much better. Other than that, I'm excited to get this game and see how it is. I love that Totodile's in it. But why is Cyndaquil not in it? Why didn't you just do the 3? Why did you do 2 from there and then the fucking random pig that no one liked? Dumb. I'm picking Totodile. Most people are going to pick fucking Totodile. Also, the game, I didn't really play too much of Arceus, so I'm not too excited for this. But this present, this present honestly kind of sucked. Like, I would have liked a hint at the next generation because next year is the big anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the reason I will assume that there was no release date is because they're probably still trying to figure out the Switch 2 release date. So once that gets a release date, then they'll probably give the rest of the games a release date as well.
So I'm gonna start with the release date thing. It's late 2025. It's always that late October, early November thing. So the fact that they weren't specific, like late 2025, we know what that means. They all always come out on late 2025, and that's the Thanksgiving November date. And I'm gonna do Zach's favorite thing, which is to rant, because that trailer was fucking awful. This is the shittiest selection of starters I have seen in a while. There's literally only 2 rosters of starters that I don't like in the whole of Pokemon. It is the Gen 8 starters and the Gen 2 starters. I think collectively those are the worst sets of starters that have come. I like Totodile as well. Don't get me wrong. I like Cyndaquil, but like but I don't love them. Like those are not the starters that I think about when it comes to the best.
I love those ones. That was my first Pokemon game. So
the fun of these games of this, where with Legends Arceus was going to the past, and now Legends ZA is going to the future, is you get to select these one starter from like mix up these generations. That's the fun about it. If you put 2 from the same generation, I'll tell you this much. I would have been just as mad if it was Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Tepig. Or if it was Mudkip, Trico, and Tepig. I like Tepig. I like the stars from Gen 5, generally speaking. In fact, one of my favorite stars of all time is the Water Star from Gen 5.
I want to know how they picked them. I feel like they just had.
I want to know too, because it makes the. I don't see what the logic was, because Cyndaquil was in the last one, was in Legends Arceus. That's why he's not here, because he's already been used in one.
Oh, was he the starter in the last one?
It was Cyndaquil for fire. It was the owl. I'm forgetting his name. From Gen 7. And then it was my boy from Gen 5, Oshawott, for water.
Oh, yeah, the Oshawott.
So
let me say this. Maybe those are not actually just the starters. Maybe it's a wider range of starters, and those are just the...
Could be. The way they say it in the trailer, I think it's just them, but oh my god, I hope you're right. I so hope you're right. That aside, the only interesting thing that came out of these trailers was the new battle system, which is not even in the actual trailer itself. It's in this other video called a bigger look or a deeper look or expensive look or whatever to Legends ZA. And that's where you find a new battle system, which is the only interesting thing about this trailer, because my biggest problem is not even the starters. Even though I think it is a shitty selection. I'm going to go with Tepig. In fact, I generally don't like Chikorita. Like, she's not one of my favorites, but also Chikorita is generally stats-wise awful in the games. Chikorita is an awful starter stats-wise. And I'm about the last person who will speak on Pokemon stats. I pick whichever Pokemon I like, and that's it. My biggest problem here, however, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are going back to Kalos. We are going back to Mega Evolution, which is by far, it's not even a contest. It is the best ever gimmick they've come up with for the Pokemon games. It honestly should have never gone away. Now you bring it back, and you do not show us one single new Mega Evolution. We see Mega Evolution in the trailer, and these are all Pokemon we already seen their Mega Evolutions before. We already saw their Mega Evolutions, 13 years ago when Pokemon X and Y originally came out? I just want something new, because we all knew they play it as this big reveal and surprise in the trailer of, oh my god, Mega Evolution is back. We knew. If you're going back to Kalos, you're going to give us Mega Evolution. We knew this was going to happen. Give us something new, something eye-catching. Show us that, or show us the evolutions of the starters, which I wasn't counting on already, because they usually only reveal it later and later, but give us one new Mega Evolution for one legendary or one starter. There isn't one of the ones that we can select, but maybe we can catch later. I think it was a waste of what could have been a genuine hype trailer, because there's no hype here. Again, the thing with the starter is the fun of it is mixing up several different generations. If you're going to have 3 and 2 of them are from the same generation, it just feels like a waste. That's all. So there's nothing here that's like, oh, hype going into this film. Am I saying I'm not going to buy this game? Of course I fucking am. It's a Pokemon game. Of course I'm buying it. I'm just saying this trailer was so much less than what it could have been. And what it should have been, honestly. Marketing-wise, it is a terrible trailer. It's just basically a reminder that this game is coming out. And oh, by the way, it comes out this year, which we were all suspecting. So, again, that's it. I'm done with the rant. I'm not getting angry anymore, but I thought it was shit. Lady Aaron, we lost legendary actor Gene Hackman. What was your favorite performance from this actor? Yeah, the situation with Gene Hackman is getting stranger and stranger with each day that passes. I am constantly checking for updates. And I hope it's all just a very confusing thing and they passed away peacefully, because I really don't like how the situation is going with each update that comes out. But my favorite performance from Gene Hackman is playing one of the greatest villains of all time in the greatest Western of all time, Unforgiven, for which I believe he won an Oscar in '92, but I could be wrong. But that's easily my favorite performance of his. French Connection is up there. Conversation is up there. He has so many films that are amazing. So, yeah. Zach?
I can't believe, you stole mine, Unforgiven, but he was in Superman, man.
He was in Superman as Lex Luthor.
I also say the Royal Tannenbaums, which is not one of my favorite Wes Anderson films,
yes.
but he is great in it. So
Royal Tannenbaums is so great. He literally plays the Royal Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
So yeah. Alrighty. Lady Aaron. You want to do it? Go for it.
Yeah, I can do it. Lady Aaron, I don't know if we ever talked about this on This Week in Geek, but in just case we haven't, what are your thoughts on the whole Amelia Perez controversy? And the whole thing with Carla.
We didn't talk about it because it happened during the time we weren't doing the show.
I also don't care to talk about it. Personally, I don't.
It's a choice to like not make it a topic and all that, just because look, Carla Sofia Gascon made her bed. She made stupid decisions. She has stupid thoughts. She put those stupid thoughts into stupid words out into the stupid world. Um, and yeah, she played a stupid game. She's winning a stupid prize. And honestly, if she shows up on Sunday, it'll make it such an entertaining show. I cannot wait to see what happens at the Oscars this year. Not even with the awards themselves, but I want to see the show because it looks like it's going to be a full-on soap opera, and that's very exciting.
Okay? Over or under? Don't know what it could be.
Okay.
Over or under? 70%. Does a Will Smith type of situation, not saying a slap or I don't know what it is, but obviously the whole event is live, so anything could happen.
Does something that shouldn't happen at the Oscars?
Yeah, but with Carla.
Yeah, obviously
with Carla.
Oh,
I'm gonna say under, but I think
I'm gonna say under only because 70% is high, but I'd give it more than 10. I'd give it more than 20. I might go over 30. Okay. We get into 40s and 50s. I'm like, I don't know, but like I think I'm comfortably going over 30, and that's my line.
Okay.
Just because 70 is so high. 70 is like almost for sure that this doesn't happen. So yeah. What's that?
Does Conan O'Brien make a joke about it?
Okay, there's two answers to that. Conan O'Brien, yes, he makes a joke about it. Do the Oscars allow him to do this joke? It depends on the joke because it is Conan. So Conan being Conan, he can very much make a joke about it that doesn't cross any lines because he's just that damn good. He's just that damn smart.
It's not like who's the dude who made The Office? Ricky
Gervais.
Oh, yeah. He would have said I'm not doing it, and then he would have done it.
And not saying that's a bad thing. It's just the Oscars. If it was the Oscars, wouldn't allow it. The Golden Globes might have, but the Oscars wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Nice. Lady Aaron, thoughts on Michelle Trachtenberg's sudden death at the age of 39? Yeah, this was shocking. I was at work when I saw this. I'm like, what the fuck? Even though I never watched the actual show, I very much know that she is a big part of Buffy. A few of my friends from here are big fans of Buffy. To me, she'll always be Fiona from Eurotrip singing Scotty Doesn't Know.
That's she'll always be Penny from Inspector Gadget. But
is she in that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was just like even reading.
They say they go in threes. You know, the whole celebrity stuff.
Yeah.
Which is scary. So.
I mean, we have the three.
Who?
Michelle, Jean, and Jean's wife, Betsy.
Oh.
I don't know if she was a celebrity, but she was a pianist, so she might have been a celebrity in certain circles. But also, for all the headlines putting out there that Gene Hackman was found with his wife, his dog was also found. The dog also died, so please pay some fucking respect, you fucking idiots. Yeah, this was shocking. Even reading the news of Michelle's death, and it was like died of natural causes at 39. Like that doesn't make sense. And then the whole thing came out about she had just done a liver transplant and was a part of her body rejecting it, which is it's tragedy on top of tragedy because it's like she got a second chance of life with this liver transplant, only to then end up getting the fate she was trying to avoid. So yeah, it just I genuinely don't have words to put how sad it is because like 39, man, I'm 7 years away from that. so yeah. Zach, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Just sad.
Yeah,
sad. That's about it.
Alrighty, what's next?
What do you think is the best case scenario in terms of the Oscar winners? I already talked about it. And the worst case scenarios in terms of Oscar winners. Emilia Perez winning everything. From me, best case scenario is Emilia Perez wins nothing of the 13 nomination. Worst case, it wins Best Picture. It won't. But yeah, I mean, we kind of already went through that.
Yeah. It's probably going to come out with one award for Zoe, and that's it.
Maybe song.
Maybe
song
song, because
too.
it has 2 nominations, yeah. But honestly, this year, nobody cares about songs. And that's with respect to the category. Even the
Did
other
you
year
see
when
that
you were...
this was the year that a lot of categories just didn't get voted in? Like a lot of
Yeah,
voters just didn't vote. So
it's true. Tony Movie Chappie, thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm, and what do you think this does for the future of Star Wars, whether good or bad? We don't know that
not
she's
leaving yet.
leaving.
Yeah.
We don't know that she's leaving because the news came out, but then she came out and said, "Nope, I'm not leaving." So it came straight from the source that she's not leaving. Now I'm gonna give you the answer to your second part. What does this do for the future of Star Wars, whether good or bad? Let's go from the assumption that she does leave at the end of the year. What does this do for the good of Star Wars, for the future of Star Wars, good or bad? It does both. Every administration before Kathleen Kennedy, Kathleen Kennedy's administration, the one that comes after, all of them are going to do good and bad for Star Wars. Just like she did, just like George Lucas did. Maybe it's more good than bad. Maybe it's more bad than good, but all administrations will have this. So regardless of whether Kathleen Kennedy stays or she goes, the future of Star Wars looks the same. It's good and bad. Every era, it's going to be good and bad. There's not going to be and we might go for like 10 years like the MCU did, where it was just banger after banger after banger for the next 10 years of Star Wars. But at some point during that administration, during that regime, if we want to call it that, it's going to be good and bad things. There's going to be good and bad movies. There's going to be good and bad shows. There's going to be good and bad decisions made. Just like Kathleen Kennedy herself made good and bad decisions. Zach?
I think by the end of this year, I agree on the good and bad, but I think by the end of this year, it is announced that she is retiring. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after that. But from that interview, it seems like she's like, I'm not just going to leave. Like, we're going to pick someone, and then I'm going to make the guidance. So that's kind of the thing. And also, I will say this. Do not be shook if Kevin Feige dips or starts to put in that resignation after Secret Wars and then leaves a couple years after that. I think it's going to be a similar situation. I think we're going to start seeing some big changes here, especially with Iger, leaving in the same amount of time. I think, I'm not saying Feige's going to go to Star Wars. Feige will probably retire. Or just go and do passion projects, like actually produce other films.
He's going to DC.
He could. You never know. Like, he genuinely could go over there and help James Gunn produce a movie. Or maybe James Gunn doesn't want to do it anymore and they need someone and he comes over and takes over. I mean, who knows? But I fully expect a lot of shakeups in the next like 2 to 3 years. But I expect them to be gradual. I expect them to be, this is who's taking my place. I'm not leaving immediately. Mm-hmm. They're going to be segueing through, and I'm going to escort them all the way to the finish line. So, I think she leaves after Sean Levy's movie comes out, if it does come out. But I think that's the one that they're, from what I have heard.
I have to when we're off the show, I'll tell you something off camera.
Okay.
All right. Next up, I lost my spot.
I have it. Tony Movie Chappie. Oftentimes I wonder this, but do you think The Last Jedi was the one that started the whole SJW and woke conversation moving forward? Nope. Especially since that movie changed film history and what spawned a whole lot of anti-woke chant to the mix because of the film that pissed off the fandom. No.
I don't think. I know. I was there. I saw The Last Jedi at a press screening days before most of the world saw it. And luckily, I won't even say luckily, but coincidentally, the Friday weekend Last Jedi came out back home, back when I was in Portugal. That was also the weekend of Comic-Con Portugal. So on Tuesday, I went to see that film. And then Thursday, the con started, and I'm like, oh, you people are all going to see Last Jedi tomorrow. We're all going to see Last Jedi tomorrow because it's fucking great. And then I saw how heavy those last 3 days of the con were. Like the ambiance was just heavy. The environment was heavy. People's moods were like not the best. So it's not a matter of thinking to the movie, Chappie. That is the movie that brought all the worst of the weeds out into the internet and just made them abusive sons of bitches. So yeah, and vitriolic sons of bitches as well.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, what do you think?
It's funny because I didn't get to go to a press screening. I saw it open night with everybody else. But I had a couple of friends who worked at a movie theater, and Disney actually allowed them to screen it for all the theater employees the day before I got to see it. And I had a friend who saw it who's not really into Star Wars. Like they enjoy the movies for what they are, but they're just not huge. And they came out and they're like, Zach, that's like the best Star Wars movie hands down. Like totally hyping it up. So then I go and see it, and I'm like, I didn't know what to think. Like I've gone really back and forth on the Last Jedi. I really liked it initially, and then I kind of was like, I don't know, like some of the change. I am in the camp of I fully love 90% of that movie. There's a 10% of the stuff that I don't agree with, but like I've really come to everything with Kylo, Rey, Luke. I think it's perfect. Completely out of left field what I would have done with it if I didn't, but love it. So yeah, I mean, it's about. I think those people were always there, but this just fueled the ammo to do whatever.
Thoughts on the cult classic comedy Saving Sarah Silverman? Never heard of it. You?
No.
Also no? Yeah, no thoughts. I genuinely never heard of this. All right, what's next?
What was it about Adam Sandler movies in the 90s and 2000s to where his comedy movies were hated by critics but was loved by audiences? Audience members still love his movies. That's why they were still made. So I'll just push that forward. He still does the same comedy. It's just different. Critics still either hate it, but I would go as far as say audience members still like his movies quite a bit. Even the Netflix trash ones, not to the full extent, but they do.
I would even say it's also I think critics, if you want to separate audiences and critics in that sense, critics just got tired of his shtick faster. I guess because look, I watch SNL. We all know what SNL is because we're hyper aware of not only all the movies coming out, everything that's on TV, what the actors that we love are doing, and that sometimes includes hosting SNL. But SNL is also where, to this day, a lot of up and coming comedians and actors and performers come from. And I think at the time, critics were super aware of Adam Sandler, and obviously there was a section of the audience that was already aware of them. But Adam Sandler going into movies is just presenting him to a wider audience. And he's just doing the same thing he was already doing on SNL. So while for most audiences it was a new thing, critics were already tired of him by then. And as much as I love Adam Sandler as a person, let's face it, that's just what he kept doing for the past 2 decades. It's the same kind of movie, the same kind of joke over and over and over again. And he still comes from that mentality, from that environment of SNL, which is sketches, which is 4-5 minute long sequences to just make people laugh and move on to the other one. And to this day, his movies are exactly that. So while in the 90s, early 2000s, they were kind of new, there was some freshness there just because he's so naturally able to play this petulant and completely unlikable, when you really think about it, man-child. And he does it very well. But back then, he was in his 20s and his 30s. Now he is in his 40s, 50s, probably going into 60s at this point. And seeing a man-child at that age just doesn't hit the same funny bone. So that's the way I see it, at least. All right. Final question, I think. Let's refresh this. Yeah, final question from Luis Feliciano. What? From Luis Feliciano. Thoughts on the Shrek 5 cast announcement trailer? Look, everyone's talking about the animation. Let's just make this. The animation isn't bad. It's great animation. It's just we don't like that they changed the visual designs because while it looks good, objectively speaking, it's just not Shrek. And that's the actual problem everyone has with this. As much as I do agree with those complaints, I still think, to me, the biggest worry is the humor in this trailer. Like, the whole thing about Shrek, what made Shrek Shrek, it's the biggest reason why I'm not that big of a fan of the first one, but then the second one actually really works. It's because it actually deconstructs the fairy tale element of it all. It modernizes fairy tale mythology per se in a very smart way. This trailer is just, oh, they have their version of TikTok and everyone's been like yassified or whatever the internet calls it. And again, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like Shrek. That's all. So I get people not vibing with this, but I'm also not judging the film already without having seen it from just this teaser. Like, if I saw so many people that complain about Shrek and Donkey. I actually really like that you see that they've gotten older. If you look past the differences in design, but in that teaser, Fiona literally looks the same. I think her shade of green is a little bit more brighter in this one, but that's literally it. I think she literally looks the same. So yeah, Zach.
As someone who has the Shrek VHSs, I loved the first two Shreks as a kid. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw all I saw was the image first, and I said that looks fake. So then I saw that a teaser had come out, and I watched it, and my initial thoughts was I don't know how to feel about this because I expected a little bit closer to like what Puss in Boots had done, with the character.
Yep.
But still looking the same. Because really, the biggest difference here is the eyes. The eyes just look more... I don't even want to say cartoony. They just look more lifelike. Like, there's more emotion, I guess.
I think I know what you're trying to say, because, like, the not even the first Shrek, all the Shreks, the old designs, like, the ogre, he was supposed to look ugly. And that was okay that he was meant to be ugly. Donkey was meant to be like ugly with those big buck teeth and all that.
Yeah.
And now they just look like a cute version of ugly. So it's ugly, but it's also cute. And that was the thing that made Shrek stand out, was that he wasn't cute ugly. He was just ugly, and let him be ugly.
So it doesn't bother me. Like it's weird. I spent all fucking day looking at that thing. Like I spent all day looking at it.
Overanalyzing every
By
frame.
the end of the day, I went, let me just see the full movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually don't mind the design. Donkey actually looks the same. They but you did knock it on the head. They all look older. They all look older, and I like that.
Fiona, I don't think she looks older.
A little bit. You can see it in her eyes.
When I was saying like she looks the same, I wasn't even talking about the age thing or the getting older thing. I was literally like the design. You can tell they changed it, but at the same time, she looks like untouched by the redesign.
So I'm interested, but I've heard stuff about this movie. So
okay.
But like you said, the humor was the thing.
After the show is over.
Okay, but yeah, the humor was the thing that I not 100% on, but it's a teaser.
Yeah, that to me, that to me was literally the biggest complaint. Because
Yeah, please don't do a Wreck-It Ralph 2 situation here, where all the jokes are old as fuck by the time the movie comes out.
Oh, okay, I get it. Like to me, I remember like the trailer starts, I'm like, oh, they look different. But immediately, as soon as I said that to myself, it was like, okay, got used to it. To me, it was that humor where they start doing the joke and scrolling, and my face is going.
Can I tell you one worry I have for the movie? And like one thing. So the reason I stared at it so long is I went and looked at the 2 models for Last Wish and Puss in Boots originally. They're the same change. Eyes are the big thing, more deep. Like it literally is almost the same change. So then that's when I kind of got a little bit better. But let me tell you this right now. If Antonio Banderas is not in here as Puss in Boots, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
That would be a waste, my friend.
It's going to be a waste, a very big waste. I will be so mad.
Going to be there.
Puss in Boots is the best character in Shrek.
Yes, and his movie is the best movie in the franchise as well.
Do you think he's in it?
I think so. I don't.
The end of the movie.
I would say he's like part of he's back as like part of the gang for the whole film, but I think he's there.
He has to be. Yes, fucking be.
Because you know, as of this moment, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the only Shrek movie they're planning. So they're already thinking of how they bring him back, when they bring him back, what they're going to do for the next one.
They're doing a donkey movie
that comes out. Shrek 5 connects to Shrek 6. All that. They're going to make at least 4 more Shreks. Unless this one flops at the box office, which not going to happen.
This movie will make, I'll say this, I think it's going to make $2 billion. You want to bet? You want to bet right now over?
I do. It's not even going to make $1 billion. It's going to make a lot of money.
You're insane.
It's going to make a lot of money.
You are high as a fucking kite.
I'm telling you right now.
You don't even think it makes $1 billion.
It's gonna make a lot of money, but it is not gonna make $1 billion.
Dude, I will bet you right now it makes $1 billion.
I will bet you
flat
right
out
now
before any marketing. Okay, it's $1 billion.
When is it coming out?
December 2026. It's a December movie. That's why I'm so confident.
Yeah, so it's not this year. It's next Christmas.
Yes.
We have time to decide what we bet on then. We
are betting.
We are betting. We just have no rush to bet right now. But yeah. But that does it, ladies and gentlemen. That does it for this Week in Geek. And guess what, my friends? Is there a show next week? Yes, there is. Because it will be my birthday the day before. So I'm off that day. I'm off on Saturday as well. So we will see you there. We'll probably see you tomorrow for the Oscars. Prepare for chaos. Embrace the chaos. And we will see you next time. So until then, love each other and love the movies. Bye-bye.